Hey guys, I want to do a story today about the expat's greatest mistake here in the Philippines, and it's not planning for your death. If God forbid something happens over here, and I've seen this too many times. I've just had it happen again here, and the few times that I've seen it happen, the expat has no money here, has no plans for his death, hasn't talked to anybody around him about his death, or was in the midst of talking about it to somebody and then suddenly passes away because he figures he's getting near to that time, and then he puts it off or something like that, and then he passes away, and then it's a mess. And here's the problem over here. When you die over here, what happens is the funeral home sees you as an expat, as a wealthy expat, and then whoever's trying to take care of your stuff, if you do have somebody in charge, is they try to overcharge them, and they kill that person with fees, and they figure, oh, here's a rich guy and he's from the United States, he's got all kinds of money, and usually it's a poor expat that's living off of Social Security or whatever, that left nothing behind. And I mean, I've seen this happen too many times, and it just happened again recently, and sadly the person didn't have any money put aside for this, and they're trying to take up a collection for the guy, and it just happens so often that a lot of the expats around here either won't or don't donate any money to it, because of the fact that they feel like the person, he left this behind for everybody else, and he did in reality. And I'm being realistic here. It's sad that it happens this way. And then sometimes people, they figure that they're going to have time to plan it, and then they pass away. But if you're going to come to the Philippines and you're going to come live here, at least have $10,000 put aside with somebody that has access to it. When you pass away, go to an attorney or whatever, and have them give them this person access to your BDO account if you pass away, to bury you. And carry that information on your person, so that if you pass away in a hospital, then they go through your wallet or something that's in there, or wear something around your neck, and so that if also if you, I mean, God forbid you pass away in the streets or in a store or something like that, and you're walking around and you have a heart attack or something like that, make sure you have something with you so people know where you live. I mean, this is like a big mistake around here in the Philippines, is that a lot of expats travel around freely, and they're walking through the streets, and there's some expats here who are loners, and they stay alone, they don't have a girlfriend or whatever, and they just come here because it's so cheap to live here. And a lot of people think like that there's not that many loners here. No, there are. And I've talked to a few of these people that kind of stay to themselves. I'm not sure why they do, but they do, and maybe they just like to be alone. They don't want to have a family or whatever, or they don't want to have a girlfriend, or they don't want to get close to people. And these people are like computer geeks or whatever, or they just don't like to get out too much. They like to be by themselves. Okay, and when these people pass away, nobody knows how to take care of these people. Like they don't know what to do when they die. So the Filipinos that find them, they either contact the barangay or the embassy or whatever. They start jumping on things, and the Filipinos are pretty good about notifying people here. But the problem is getting people buried here is a huge issue, because it can be costly. And I did a video on funerals here, okay, and what it costs and stuff like that. And I read it from most of the stuff from an article, and I disseminated a lot of information about this, okay? But this is the greatest mistake an expat can do over here, is die, okay? Another one is get sick, because if you don't have money or you don't have insurance over here, I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to mention this again in this video, is that there's a good insurance company out there called Pacific Cross. If anybody needs the information, I can send them the information, or you can just call Pacific Cross. But I have a really good agent that takes care of this, and if you need that information, I can give you that info. Okay? They have a thing called a peso plan. It's basically for Filipinos. Okay? The peso plan is like $700 a year for somebody that's in their late 50s. Okay, it's very reasonable. I think you can get it cheaper if you're willing to stay in a group room. It's not the nicest conditions. There's other ways you can stay too, and it's I think like a room where you share your room with somebody else, so it's two people in the room. There's all different types of plans you can get, guys, and they're not that expensive. The American plans are about $2,000 something a year, I think it is. Very good plans. If something happens to you, you don't have to worry, But guys, get some money in the bank. Take care of yourselves, and make sure you have. I always recommend, like I said, $5,000 to $10,000. I would say $10,000 or more in your bank account when you come here. You need some money, guys. You need to have money if you die. You need to tell your girlfriend. And here's the flip side of this, unfortunately. A lot of guys come here and they trust the person that they're with. And that's okay in some cases. And I'm not trying to say all Filipinos are con artists or rip off us, but when it comes to money, you really have to be careful who you pick for your significant other here. And I'm not saying your wife or something like would do that. In some cases they will, but they would rob you. What happens is if you have any money in the bank account, they'll take it, and then they'll act like they're poor and they'll try to take up a collection for you or whatever and try to get as much money as possible, and it's sad that this happens, but it does, okay? But in most cases it won't. You want to have that money aside and have it written out, like I said, go to an attorney and then have it so that like they can get into your BDO account. As long as they have like a death certificate or something like that, they can get the money to bury you. Okay, and that's the important thing. But that's about it, guys. I just wanted to put this out here. It's kind of important. It's kind of like I've seen too many people here pass away and have no money here, and then to have people have to beg to bury you, it puts everybody on the spot. All his friends, all his acquaintances, the families, hitting people up for money, and other people just don't have the money to bury their friends and acquaintances here. So I mean, to have that happen, it's very sad, and it's just not something that should be happening, because most of these people don't want that to happen when they die. But if you don't want it to happen, guys, then be prepared for it. Make sure you have an insurance policy or something. Make sure it's written out to your girlfriend or your wife. They'll pay it over here. SBLI back home, savings bank life insurance, they will pay somebody outside of the country if you have it. And it's very cheap insurance. Okay, you can get a $25,000 insurance policy. In fact, I think you can even get less, just enough to bury you. I gave the cost on my other video. I can't recall what they were. It's not that expensive if you go to a good funeral home, and if you don't like the funeral home, you can just tell them, say, listen, if you're not going to give me a decent price, bring me some, bring the woman can, whoever's taking care of you or whatever, can say, bring me to, bring him to this funeral home. They're cheaper. I've already priced it, and price it. Don't just go with the first funeral home, because they're gonna try to kill you on things. Say, listen, what are you gonna give me a deal or no? Deal or no deal? Okay. I just want to say that, guys. Be careful out there. Be sure to press subscribe and like, and leave any comments below. And if you have any questions or anything, I will be more than happy to answer them. If you have any video ideas or anything, just let me know what they are, and if I like them, I'll do them. Okay. Thank you, guys.